Good evening, everyone. My name is Vikram and I lead the business for Meritto. Thank you so much for joining this event, Evolve by Meritto. We are very grateful that majority of our partners as well as some of our prospects have joined us here for this discussion for this day. Uh, this panel, when we were conceptualizing this event, we thought there is a lot of noise with respect to AI, especially across the board in many sectors. We, being a vertical SaaS as a company, deeply in education, imbibed a lot of stuff in terms of creating our product with the help of each one of you. When we looked at AI, we felt that there is a need to discuss a lot with respect to what AI can do in education, which is probably not done enough. A lot of discussion around AI in various industries, but not in education very deeply. So we thought let's bring the leaders of education institution together and have a focused 25 to 30-minute discussion on AI with respect to what AI can do in education and how education institution can lead in that arena. So we've got a panel. I'm sure most of you now know at least few of them here. We've got institutions, which is business schools. We've got edtech companies here. We've got study abroad focus players as well here. We're going to share their perspective with respect to what is happening in AI in education. For this panel, we are going to look at this entire discussion largely from the lens of two aspects. One is clearly what is happening in education, especially in the marketing side, in the enrollment side, in the admission side, in the student experience side, while onboarding the student into the institution. Second is largely from a point of view of once the student is onboarded, what is happening with respect to students' learning, outcomes, the way students are handled, the way the pedagogy and teaching and all that are empowered through AI. So those were the two things where we will focus the discussion on, and would like to start with Prashant first. Prashant is the founder of Alumni and ISB Mantra, largely helping students uh, across the board in helping them with the uh, managing their expectation in terms of where all they can apply, how they can apply, what are the ways in which they can apply. And Prashant, largely, I know that your focus is largely on the piece related to the other aspect, that learning, outcome, what all you guys are thinking in AI, and how you have looked at this from your experience in ISB Mantra as well as in Alumni.
Right. Thanks, Vikram, and thanks, Meritto, for organizing this event. Certainly, we have been a big fan of Meritto and how it has helped our business streamline further. We have had the fortune of catering to a wide range, the entire spectrum of student journey, right from their master's applications abroad to subject selection, course selection, and more recently, we have expanded to the K-12 space as well. So through the conversation, would love to touch upon the student learning journey and how AI can enhance that further. But like we were discussing, unfortunately, education is one field where there's not much done yet. I mean, if you look at retail, the moment you talk about a coffee or a pair of shoes, you see those on your Instagram advertisements or screen. Whereas when we talk about education, there's not as much innovation that has happened. And this is one field where also the decisions are fairly irreversible. So if there are certain decisions that a university takes, a college takes, they cannot reverse it for that particular set of students. They can reverse it probably, or they can repair it for the subsequent set of students. And same goes for parents, same goes for students. And there are multiple stakeholders involved. So it's not just the doctor and the patient in case of healthcare. Here, there are multiple stakeholders involved in the decision making. So this is an important discussion where I draw a lot of analogy with healthcare, where so much personalization and AI can impact the entire course of the student or the customer journey. And we need to then imbibe it in education and build on it. So would love to have more thoughts from the peer panelists.
So let me go to Dr. Manish. Sir, you have been managing this institution, and I'm very sure that when it comes to admissions, uh, guidance is necessary for students. So far, we have counselors largely who are guiding students on many of those aspects. Where do you see AI playing a role there, especially considering that these decisions are quite emotional as well for the parents as well as for the child? So, what has been your experience largely, and what do you think where AI should play a role in that array?
Okay. Thank you. First of all, Meritto to me has still not struck my mind. I still call it as no paper forms, and I don't know why, because right from the time when we started working with them, it has been no paper forms. So someone says Meritto, I again look at it, and yes, but that's how close it has been to us, and it has made our journey very interesting. Thanks to Meritto for having this again and again and seeing that the community comes together. It's very necessary that the community comes together, discusses things together, and evolves together. There's nothing competition between all of us because we are finally speaking about one common community which is there to bless the students, guide the students, and scale up the dreams of the students, which is going to build the India of tomorrow. So that's why I would appreciate, and let's give a great round of applause for this Evolve team for doing a great work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now at ISBR, I feel it is quite at a very naive stage that we started with AI integrated across all our departments. So we have a center of excellence in artificial intelligence, and that center of excellence in artificial intelligence works across all the departments. I'll talk about academics, which is my cold forte in some time when we discuss academics, and I'll tell you the magic that AI is playing in the field of academics. But now when he asked about admissions, so to all of you who are admission counselors here, I would say be aware. Get prepared to scale yourself up because it's not far that you'll have counselors which are AI robots and which understand your students and the pulses of it. You spoke about emotions, and you'll have these I have seen them in the fairs in Dubai, in the fairs of China, and they have been doing amazing job. To a great extent, I have seen a counselor in one of the fairs of China, and this counselor to a very great extent looks like a human being. So that's the difference AI is going to bring into the system. Now, let me tell you how it works about. There's an enquiry that has hit your system. Now, because the team here understands enquiry and the language of a funnel, I'll use that language. An enquiry hits your system. And the moment an enquiry hits your system, you know the background of the student, the location he has come from, the place he has come from, his marks in 10th, 12th, graduation, the type of parent he has, the communication that is there of the parents, everything's in the data. AI at the back end immediately works and understand who are the type of counselors that you have in the organization, and this enquiry in the past, which was the counselor that with all these given ingredients has handled the inquiry well, and the inquiry directly hits on the screen of that counselor. And that counselor, because he or she has been smart in handling such inquiries, look at the AI technique that has happened. And we have tested it at ISBR and we found it amazing. The conversion ratios have multiplied. And that counselor specifically handles such inquiries. The communication that is taken care of, the whole discussion that happens, it's captured, and only the gist is available to the admission head to know what has happened in the whole discussion and what should be the next step. Forget all that. When the whole admission process is over and you have your pre-masters program designed for these students. So at ISBR, even before a student hits the campus, his MBA or his PGDM has already started beyond his coming to the campus, and it's 3 months beyond. And this, with the help of AI, we are able to curate. Now, this started from last year. The team of ISBR is here. So I'm using your case study. So they are able to curate a program for this student, which is specifically guiding him or her towards his career. So once the inquiry is in, the admissions and hit the table, the AI at the back end works on who amongst our mentor list, whether it is from PwC, whether it's from Ernst & Young, or whether it's from JP Morgan, should be the right mentor which is going to guide the student. And last year when this was tested, the results were amazing. People here understand what a dropout is, right? And a dropout is very annoying. And with this AI system in place, your dropout comes down. Because the students gets curated lessons for himself or herself. I mean, I was with Bhimrai Maitriji today on lunch. Bhimrai Maitriji is the director of IIM Nagpur. And that's why I was late here when I came in. And we were discussing only AI. And he was talking about, Manish, this AI, if continues as it is and if student starts writing their assignments with the use of AI and without using critical thinking, you are only going to create MBA clerks in future. Literate MBA clerks. Do you want to do that? And that's where we were worried. And then we came to a solution that it's the faculty, like an eagle flying above the clouds. If your cloud is AI, your faculty should be your eagle, who oversees the clouds, and your artificial intelligence becomes the real actual intelligence which should help human beings to grow, not artificially grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me go to Pralochan. And I think you have done a lot of work, Pralochan, in the AI space largely. Not, I would say, in the space related to the admissions and all that very deeply. But in the other side, on the learning side and all, what has been your experience? Because at Meritto, we built AI long back, and now we have launched a couple of products on AI, which are very deep in education.
Yeah.
Our experience has been little different than what Dr. Manish shared, largely on the learning side and all. So what has been your experience?
Great.
And how are you managing that?
Thank you so much. Firstly, it's a privilege to be sitting beside such education veterans. There's a lot to learn from each and every one of you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'll just give a brief about, I can even speak about the admission side of things because I head business development for Banzu. And Banzu does $35 million revenue every year. It's a direct-to-consumer company where we teach math to children, to put it simply. So I'll touch upon the learning piece first, and then probably I will just spend half a minute on admissions as well.
Sure.
So when it comes to learning, most of formal education is outcome-driven, right? When, be it a child or be it an adult or be it someone who is in a graduate or an undergrad program. So when education is outcome-driven, it is inevitable that there is a factor of motivation attached to it, right? So all the self-learning apps that you see, I've even been to San Diego in the month of April at the summit where I think 1,000 companies presented their AI models just in education. So there's a lot of research going on. But when it comes to the intrinsic root of what education is manifested as right now, so it's either motivation driven or someone has mentioned at the beginning of the event, it's the joy of learning, right? So when it is not outcome driven, automatically you learn at your own pace or there's a lot of joy involved. But when there is outcome attached to education, like let's say a degree or you getting X percentage of marks in an exam, so that is where motivation becomes a very important thing. So when there is motivation involved in learning, can AI truly replace everything that we conventionally have right now? The answer is both yes and no. Right? So what we have observed at Banzu is that, by the way, we are having the largest AI research team in education in India for a D2C company right now. What we have observed is that for a subject like math, for subjects like language learning, where there is a direct outcome attached, as much as we talk about AI democratizing learning, we have understood that it's as much with AI democratizing teaching, right? Can you be as good as a math teacher in a reputed institute? Can I be as good as a reputed teacher in another institute, right? Be it math, English, science, social, anything. That is where I think AI plays a huge, huge role. Can you spoil a teacher with so many tools that it doesn't make a difference eventually that high pedigree teacher is teaching or someone who is not having such credentials, right? So that is where we have seen a lot of innovation happen. And right now, you can easily imagine a class, an online live class, where a teacher sits at a location, 5 students sit at some other location, is as effective as 20 students sitting in 20 different locations just because of the kind of tools that AI has brought in, right? That is one piece. And the other form of learning where we have seen students, drastically improve is asynchronously, how can they clarify their doubts, right? A lot of companies have tried it, they've failed. I don't want to name them. But how can you truly make the pedagogy so enriched that while you're teaching, you can easily spot that, hey, Rahul has done this question wrong. Why don't you give this particular example? If that is the kind of tool and learning you're giving the teacher, and there is automated feedback loops on top of it, then learning is automatically democratized. Before you democratize learning for a learner, if you think about democratizing teaching for teachers, I think that is where there will be a lot of change, right? So that is what I strongly feel about the learning space and what AI can contribute in this. When it comes to the admission processes, right? I have personally taken up the entire wing of United States for Banzo. And in the last 1 year, we have doubled in conversions and we deal in pretty large volumes. So maybe a few examples are not relatable. We at least crunch around 15,000 to 20,000 leads that are generated through performance marketing platforms. So where AI has actually changed our game is to actually qualify a lead, right? So that is the first primary use case that we have worked on. So how can you qualify the lead so much that a counselor's job becomes easier, right? We are nowhere having this thought of replacing a counselor, right? So how can we make a counselor's job easy is something that we have figured out. There are many tools going around where there is voice assistance and there is a lot of other things going around. But what we have understood is that there is obviously a lot of funnel drop when it comes to a D2C company. Understanding these funnel drops through AI engines and customized loops and actually building automated content and sending that through CRMs is what we have absolutely mastered. So this even increased our brand recall. This beautifully nurtured our funnel even further and further. And where we were standing 1 year ago, we have doubled our conversions right now. And no matter what seasonality is or no matter what time of the year is, we are able to predict what kind of sales funnels we'll be having in the next few quarters or so. So I think there's a lot more scope to improve, but there's a lot of clutter as well, like you have rightly mentioned. But I think things are becoming clearer and clearer in education space is what I strongly feel. Yeah.
I'll come back to you because I have a couple of more questions, but I'll come back to you. Interestingly, if you look at it from Meritto's lens also, we, in the voice AI side, we launched 2 products, which are very deep: qualification and reactivation. Because we feel, as you rightly said, that the counselor's job is to ensure that they do counseling and they get better leads. So qualification can be done by AI easily, voice. And once it is qualified through CRM, as you rightly said, it's so deeply integrated that it becomes easy for a counselor to drive it forward, because that saves a lot of time of the counselor from dialing those numbers otherwise, which they would have used in actually ensuring that they depart a lot of feedback to the student. So that is what we are focusing on. Let me go to Deepak. Deepak, you run a very, very innovative business school of all the entrepreneurs. And we know that there a lot of discussions and debate are happening on AI. Some of them are already building some models on AI. What has been your experience with respect to AI, especially in the education side, as well as in general, out of those 400 entrepreneurs you manage in your school, what is their lens on the AI?
Yeah, well, first of all, a very good evening to all of you. I think this is a great initiative by Meritto, and thank you for having me here today. But the way that I look at things might slightly be different, and few of you might not like me by the end of the session, because I honestly believe that the whole education system is going through a big transition, and I'm sure all of you agree that it is going through a big transition. I think the entire system is actually moving from delivering the education system I'm talking about. It's moving from delivering information to, I think, capability building. And we guys are responsible to help the students to build their capabilities. With AI coming in, you've got information, data, statistics, case studies that you can't even imagine at the fingertips of the students. I think even before we walk into a class, the student would have finished the whole topic, by the time we enter. So, I think the entire education system if it does not evolve now, like the name of our event today, if it does not evolve, and if we are responsible in building the future thought leaders of the world, I think we need a very deep introspection. We probably need, I think I should request Manish Bhai to start an institute only for AI for teachers and all of us, because we are building the next generation leaders, and I think it's very important for us to learn first more than anybody else. AI can answer all your questions. It can give you very intelligent answers, but you can't take away the empathy, the connection, the human connection that we bring in to the classroom, right? So the role of a teacher, or the role of us, all of us as teachers and counselors or people in the education industry, I think it's more strategic now. It's more to do with relationship building. Even if I talk about the admission cycle, I think leads can be generated, like he mentioned, 10, 15,000 leads. You're probably nurturing 10, 15,000 leads at a time. That is what AI is bringing. I totally agree and understand. But the relationship factor, I think that is where the human connection falls into place. So you can be intelligent using AI, but you really cannot be wise using AI. So to become wise, you have to go through the experiences of life. And we as educators, I think it's extremely important for us to learn first. So I think it's us. We start with us and then everybody else. Coming to the entrepreneurship side, yes, I mean, we totally believe, I'm sorry to say, but business sirf padhne se nahi, karne se hota hai. I think when you're building businesses, it's important that we have experiences which are real, which are on the ground, which is absolutely real. And how is AI playing an important role in the entrepreneurial space, in the space where students come from or the future founders coming from? I'll give you statistics which I just recently read. 60%, so the chances of you moving from an idea to an MVP, building a product which earlier was, let's say, taking, 1,000 days, it has come down by 60%. So now in 40 days, you can actually move from your idea to an MVP because of AI. So that's the power of AI, and that's why entrepreneurship is in the air. And I truly believe that you have to learn to live with AI, co-live with it rather than trying to compete with AI, because it'll bring in a lot of anxiety. So I think it's just to do with how do we survive and live with AI, and how do we do it first. More than the students, we should learn first is what I truly believe. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Sure. Ruchir, what has been your experience at Accelerator X in terms of what you are using, if at all you are using, in which phase, and so far what you have done?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. So we started this journey just a year back with a vision to make AI learning accessible to all. So we are working with the government, schools, colleges, everyone. We are not into just admissions, but into the learning space as well. We are so I'll just discuss about one case study which one of the experience which we had with the AI. So we imposed one experimental with government of Chhattisgarh, because Chhattisgarh is a very the kind of a state where the education penetration is not there. So when government has deployed the AI, we have seen that from the learning side, that people, the students, they need some emotional support. Let's say they get the information, logical reasoning from the AI, but they are not getting that emotional warmth of the teacher, what traditionally what teachers were doing or teaching, because AI can give them the answers, but they can also understand them, but that emotional support or that curation which traditionally which teachers were doing, that is something still missing. If I talk about the admission side, I totally agree with Pralobnan. I think yeah, so definitely AI has brought down the conversion time, lead enrichment, that is now at very less time. So let's say whenever a lead falls, and when we we imply the any AI agent or AI systems to enrich the lead, the total time it takes from the first fall to the system and till the conversion, previously it was very high. Now with the AI it has reduced more than 75%, and that is something what AI is bringing in terms of the acquisition stage. And apart from that, if I talk about the total funnel, right? So not all the leads will get nurtured at the first stage, but let's say maybe 10%, 20% will get converted, and but the rest 80% is not like that. They don't want to do it. They are just not sure of it, or maybe some lack is there. AI can constantly target them and bring that conversion rate up by constantly targeting them. If I talk about the education, sorry, if I'm taking much time. So if I talk about the learning experience, definitely AI is helping students. We can imply different AI agents, different AI solutions, close feedback loops. But now the shift should be more focused towards AI as a companion rather than you are totally depending on AI, because lots of institutions are here who might be planning to embed AI into their education learning journeys of the students. But what I believe is AI is a very good companion. It can drive you towards your goal. It can aid you towards running your goal. But if your students are totally relying upon the AI, then you are just got defeated the whole purpose of being AI companion. That is what I believe.
I think you raised a very relevant point with respect to leads and management of leads and all that, like Cholan, and I'm sure Suraj, our co-founder, is going to run a session for 30 odd minutes later part of the day. You will be amazed to see some of the statistics there with respect to what is happening and how in education we can support our counselors and drive this kind of work forward. But continuing with the discussion, I'm coming back to you. As I said, I have a couple of more questions on what you said with respect to deployment of AI. So what kind of governance structure you think is necessary for deploying an AI? Because everyone is talking about AI, but largely when you deploy it, you will realize that there are a lot of things which you need to ensure that it governs in a way with your model. So if you can throw some light on that, that would be helpful for our audience.
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I'll talk about two kinds of governance maybe. Firstly, the legal structures involved, and maybe then I'll talk about internal governance of what education companies should ideally follow. As you very well know, with any technological advancement, one of the last places where things catch up is, legal structures and identities, right? So the same has happened with the internet. And even when computers came, firstly, the laws pertaining to the technological advancements have taken a bit of time. And right now we are at a stage where the legalities are still catching up with so many agentic AI models and even, technologies like deep fakes a lot. A lot of laws are still catching up, so I wouldn't go much deeper into that. But however, educational institutions have a huge responsibility on their shoulders to make sure that the implementation of AI is in the right manner. So firstly, because I work in a relevant space, I'll talk about child safety. I think AI, at least when it comes to adults, it's easily navigable compared to children. So what I can talk about the use case that we have built. We have built something called as the Banzu Buddy, right? Banzu Buddy is an agent that talks to children, and children can actually either type, record their voice, or upload a picture and instantly get their doubts solved. So for example, if your child has a unit test day after tomorrow, they can prepare using the Banzu Buddy very effectively, right? So the initial use cases, what we have found out that if a child asks, hey, teach me algebra, of course the Banzu Buddy will teach it. Can you teach me algebra with the example of guns, right? Just an example. So you need to make sure that you have the relevant context of all the nations around the world and implement their child safety laws in the AI you are building. So everyone has their own use case of AI that they want to portray to the external world, making sure that the child safety and protection laws and whatever cyber laws are around the AI have to be implemented, because sooner or later other legalities will catch up, right? We will soon have AI specialized lawyers and firms as well, just like how we have cybercrime lawyers and firms. So it's very, very important for governance to happen in that way when it comes to safety. When it comes to apart from ethics, if I talk about effective usage of AI and that sort of governance, I think reading insights from AI becomes so much more important. And everyone can implement AI, right? It's right at our fingertips. But we have to be intelligent enough to draw the right kind of insights. So with AI, what happens is, I'll just give you a small example. Any negative space that you feed to AI gets amplified if you don't take care of your data sanity, right? So this is a problem that a lot of people have faced. I'll take the example of a healthcare, like because it's very relatable to all of you. Even AI and ML researchers have happened in eradicating cancer way before even AI came into picture. So one small negative space actually destroyed the entire research, and now it is again coming back to life, right? So in education, similarly, even in admission processes, even in inferring learning outcomes, small negative spaces that actually skew the entire data is something that we have to be very, very careful when it comes to implementing AI solutions. This is a problem that you can face, especially with learning pathways when it comes to fundamental subjects like math, science, and language. And this is also very, very, relevant for even learning for adults, even when they do programs like the MBA or any other kind of programs as well. When you have to manage learning pathways using AI, you need to be very, very sure of the cleanliness of data and the governance around it. Yeah.
I think that
I think you should give a big round of applause to him. He talks like ChatGPT, isn't it? The way he replied these questions intelligently, I think absolutely brilliant. I wanted to ask you a question connected to this, if I may, with your permission. How well is India ready, according to you, with these governing laws? When I look at AI, when I look at implementing technology, at the moment, I believe that it's not fully baked. It's not completely ready. So it's like flying an aircraft which is not completely checked. So personally speaking, me as Deepak, and I personally feel that it's a little dicey situation here in India. But what's your take? Because you come from the domain, and he is our Evolve GPT today. So yeah, please.
Yeah, great question again. So one thing that I can assure you is that when it comes to legal frameworks, as far as my experience is concerned, India does take up some time to catch up, but when it does it more thoroughly than other countries, right? So that is something that I have observed, especially when if we talk about even cyber laws and other relevant laws regarding internet, the United States has come up with some exhaustive list of laws, but with more exhaustion, you have more and more loopholes as well, right? The striking of the middle ground of how to do it thoroughly is something that India has done it better than a lot of countries. And though legal frameworks and other things are at nascent stages in India, I'm very, very sure that eventually when we catch up, I think we'll be in a slightly better position, at least in frameworks, where how it gets implemented is a whole other discussion. But I think the thoroughness of frameworks will be slightly better than a few other countries is what I anticipate.
In fact, just to add on that, we already have DPDP in place. And to just add additionally on that, we have our InfoSec head here today present. And in the later part of the day, he's going to demystify the DPDP Act for all of you so that you understand what's going on. The governance question largely was stemming out from the fact that what is going to happen, how we are going to drive it and all. And hence, it is very important that we need to understand what is written in law, whatever is written. Implementation, as I said, again, what he said, I agree to him, but at least we should know what's written. The other piece here, and I'm sorry, I'm just extending to what you said, and then I'll go to Dr. Manish. In your experience, what do you think that a CRM, which is a vertical in nature, only focused on a particular sector would be able to drive the value of AI in a much better way, or a horizontal can also do a equal good job? What has been your experience there?
That's another wonderful question. So, firstly, I think though a few AI companies can solve a lot of wide variety of use cases, I still think there should be a vertical specific specialization. That's why if AI is so advanced, CRMs wouldn't be relevant. But we are more dependent on CRMs than ever, right? That is, my honest take. And I'll just give you a couple of examples. So, within the vertical specialization of a CRM, if you can actually cover a few other grounds that are not that intuitive. For example, anyone who has an admission process as an institution or as a company, you know how your funnels are getting tracked, you know how your leads are getting generated, and how your counselors are performing, how many students are getting admitted, so on and so forth. I needn't go into the technicalities. But can you explore the intelligence of AI and the robustness of a CRM to go beyond what is your funnel data? For example, can you improve your brand insights? Can you improve your brand visibility? Can you unlock the next target market using this intelligence? I think that is where there is a lot of merit to how AI is integrated to CRMs. For example, if you are operating in India within, and you know your target segments very well, so if you have to unlock the next target segment, how do you get insights? And how do you create content that is relevant for your other teams to build a better brand and attract other consumers? I think AI has a direct insight addition to your top of the funnel, to put it shortly, right? If you want to explode your top of the funnel, use your CRM wisely, integrate AI into it, and derive as much insights as possible, and feed the feedback to your top of the funnel engine, right? So if you want to really make your brand bigger and bigger as days go by, I think this is the most robust way that I can currently think of.
Dr. Manish, you also touched on the same thing when you answered your first question with respect to how ISBR is driving it. I want to come to the point with respect to your admission team, your faculty. How are you going to ensure that whatever you have deployed is working in tandem with what your objectives are?
They're very interesting, because for a management, that's the most challenging question and the most challenging work that a management has to look into. Before I go into anything, my Deepak and my other friends spoke of very interesting thing. And let's put out that fear first. See, there is no faculty who's going to be replaced, nor there is any human that is going to be replaced. The replacement will only happen between the person who has known AI and between the person who has not taken a step to know AI. So the replacements are only going to happen between these two, with these two type of people. So there is no other replacements. Human touch required. So we did a small simulation. This was done about 2 months ago. Very interesting simulation where what we did was 20 students were given their laptops, and the whole program was created such that individually they learn a concept and come out of the room. And the concept becomes interesting and more interesting as you start working on the machine with the use of artificial intelligence. 20 other students were put in a place where the group was split into 5 into 4, and the same case, the simulation, Harvard-based simulation, was taught to these students. And when the final outcome was evaluated, the team that did it individually, online, and with the Harvard and with the AI-based technique could come out with knowledge, no doubt about it. But then finally they found themselves helpless. Whatever has to happen between a discussion between the community could not happen. But when these 5 members group that came out together, exactly like the game that our co-founder of Meritto made us play today, we came to know each other. Just that hi-fi for a minute removed all our stress, tensions, and made us feel that we should have more of such hi-fis. And that is what happened in the second room that was done. And that's the reality. So no faculty or no people is going to be replaced. What is going to be replaced is the knowledge of one who's not adapted to AI with the knowledge of the other who has adapted to AI. So what we have done at ISBR to see that things work well, and that's the only mantra and that's the only funda, is training, training, and training. See that before your students knows it, Your faculty knows it, just like you have said. It's time that your faculty has to upgrade, your faculty has to train, your faculty has to go to industry visits that are working with AI, and we have done that. Our faculty 2 months ago went to 3M for an industry visit, and in 3M they realized that, oh my God, everything that they are using was AI based. I mean, industries are moving with fast pace, whereas the whole of the education industry is still thinking about how are we going to evolve. So this concept of training with our AI center of excellence that we have created is what is changing things. Working with partners closely is another thing that we are doing. So when we work with Meritto, we discuss what we want. And Meritto has been quick enough to see that they understand the problem statement and they react to it and come out with the next ideas on how is this whole process going to be streamlined. So when your partners work across and the training is provided to the team, things goes in action. We have an amazing ERP in our institution, one of its kind. This ERP monitors the complete student life cycle. For the first year, we failed miserably in deploying this ERP. But then we realized we failed miserably. It's because we have not trained the real person who are going to use the ERP. And then we spent 6 months on training the head of the departments, the faculty, the administrators, and then we deployed this ERP again. And the whole lot of change was seen. Today it is about 6 years that we are using this ERP, and every data of the student, including how they are doing, how they are curating themselves, how they are scaling up, what is the type of job they are looking for, is at our fingertips. So yes, it is a top-down approach that is required to see that there is effective implementation of whatever you have said across the departments. And it may not be possible to do it if it's bottom up and the top management does not get involved into it. So that's how it is.
So I just wanted to add a comment to this. I mean, all of them here, and I'm sure all of you agree that AI is important. Implementation of AI is inevitable. It's extremely important. At what level, each one of us, probably will have to figure that out. But the important question is, when do we do it, right? So when he said, all of us as facilitators and educators, we need to learn. When do we learn? Trust me, every single minute that we are not doing it, like every day that we are saying, okay, I'll start from tomorrow, we are going way behind because of the speed at which it is growing right now. And because we are responsible of building the future thought leaders and the speed at which this technology is growing, especially in the space of AI, if we don't do it right now, I think 5 years from now, you will be actually graduating students and preparing them for the world which does not exist at all. We feel extremely guilty, if you don't do it immediately. So I think it is important for us to do it right now. Like whatever we discussed, I think it needs to be implemented now. The teachers have to go through training now. All of us need to change our thought process now. Everything, jo karna hai, abhi ke abhi. Because the way that the speed at which it's growing, I think if this space, we all will be left behind.
I think I can go on and on and on this topic, but I have a limitation of time as well. So I'm very thankful to each and every panelist for joining on this panel and sharing their thoughts and perspective about what's going on with respect to AI in their respective organization as well as in education at large. So thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate your time on the panel, and we'll have a lot of things to talk about during breaks.
Great. Before we end, or I have one homework for each one of you, and that's what I do. Make it a point every day before you go to bed. Find out one AI app or one AI tool. Download it on your mobile. Play with it for 30 minutes. Even if the app is like creating a self version of yourself, do it. So yesterday, one of my students did something amazing when I said him to do this. In 63 minutes, a student had nothing in his hand. He identified one product. He created a website of the product. He marketed that product online. The ad was created in maybe 6 minutes. In 63rd minute, he had his first enquiry in his inbox. That's the power of AI. Now, this student is a marketing student in his final year, and he presented it to me telling this is what it could be done. So each one of you, whatever you are doing, as he said, आज अभी करना कैसा है? All of us will ask, हम करें कैसे? Download one app per day, play with it, delete it. Next day, find out what someone else has done. He spoke of something on maths. I was curious, and as we were talking, what we did was we went to his website to see what is he doing in maths, and we were amazed to see the type of work you are doing. So, I mean, learning is now, and that's how you do it and scale yourself. Thank you.